I'm sick.
Yeah, I can tell.
I don't feel good. I don't like it.
Well, to be fair, you never feel good.
No. I was sick all last week, and we didn't record a podcast. And then, I don't know, here we are, and I'm better, but not as better as I want to be. So we're not going to do episode 100 today. We'll do a DBS, but I'm not drinking any alcoholic beverages because then I'll relapse into more sickness.
This is what you get for going and seeing muscle-bound men in tight clothing and stuff like that.
I went to the Arnold in Columbus, Ohio, and there was 5 million people. There was thousands and thousands, and you couldn't even walk. I've never been to a thing that was that, like, we've been to a lot of conventions, nothing that was that busy or packed. And you know what? Did not get sick from there. I got sick from the person I went with. That's the kick of the nuts. It's like, if I got sick from the convention, that's expected.
Yeah, it's kind of like a like you said, it's expected. It's what you sign on for.
Live and learn. But here we are, and I did see the Batman. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I also saw the Batman.
You like the Batman?
I did, and I really enjoyed the Batman.
10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10? It was a bit long.
Yeah, I'd probably say 9 because, like, it's giving it a 10 is like saying, like, there
perfect movie.
Yeah, and it's like, no, there's things that could be, fixed or tweaked.
My biggest critique, and it wasn't the actor, I didn't care for Gordon because...
Oh, really?
I just felt like most of the movie... Like, I like the part with him and Batman when he's like, hey, you punch me out and you escape.
Yeah.
Like, they did their little thing. But I did not like that most of the movie. It seemed like he was just reading out loud the letters for the audience. Like the Riddler's letters and stuff. He was just like, oh, man. Or then he was also playing so what you're saying is the Riddler is going to bomb. Like, it's just, I don't need the... he was like the fucking Trunks in the Dragon Ball. Like, he has to point out everything for the audience. I didn't care for that. But that was like the only main critique I really think I had on that movie.
See, I don't even think I really noticed that because actor, I really enjoyed it. So like,
that's what I said. It wasn't the actor. It was just like his lines just how they used them mainly. I didn't care for that. And it wasn't the whole movie he did that. It was like 4 or 5 times. I was like, you're reading out loud again. Why are we doing so much out loud reading?
I guess what you could say to that is like, they're in a room full of cops and not everybody can see the thing.
I guess.
You know what I mean? I mean that,
I'll have to watch it again. I had fucking front row seats.
Ooh.
I botched. That was my fault. I botched it because we went to an AMC in Columbus. And when I go to the AMC, this is where you pick your seat.
Yeah.
Well, there was a million showings, but they were all pretty busy. The one we picked, I looked on the thing and I just picked, back row, sweet. On the mobile, because I usually do that in person, like whenever I go to the AMC, but I ordered the tickets ahead of time since I figured it was opening weekend and I was going to be busy. It's flipped. So the top, which is normally the back row, is the screen row. I was like, what the fuck? So I got the front row. I was like, well, this isn't going to do. So we sat in the handicap seats. And I was like, if a handicap person comes and kicks me out, fine. Like watching the previews, all good. Right before the movie starts, 2 teenage girls come in and they're looking around. What? And then they look at us. I think you're in our seats. But it was like, oh, no, these are the handicap seats. Because they had a sign on it. It's like you can sit there up until the movie or something unless a handicap person comes. Because they're not even, like, I didn't see them on the chart to buy.
Yeah.
But then these girls were like, oh, we bought the handicap seats. I was like, fucking not handicapped. I got up, started limping up towards the front row. I did. Dragging my foot.
Well, you know what? Isn't too probably much of a stretch after spending however many hours it takes to drive to Columbus and then walk around a convention center. So yeah, that's probably wasn't even a fake limp.
I wouldn't recommend watching the Batman as front and center. That wasn't ideal. But like I said, I like the movie. So I thought the writing in the movie was good. I enjoyed the characters. All the actors and actresses did a good job.
I liked how, what's his name, was just pretty much doing like a Joe Pesci impression.
Yeah.
In his makeup.
You know what? I actually do have a legit criticism of the movie. You don't shoot Batman in the face.
Well,
There was a scene
I don't know how he doesn't get shot in the face.
in the scene in the hallway. How did nobody get shot? They all had machine guns blasting at close range, and he's fighting like 4 or 5 guys with machine guns all at once, and nobody gets shot in the face. Especially Batman, who's the biggest guy there. But like his armor apparently is amazing because it just bullets bounce off. But he didn't shoot him in the face. That's all you gotta do. Shoot him in your face. And then also the ending was like the big climax at the end where it had a bunch of, I'm not going to give it away, but there's all kinds of shenanigans going on. That seemed like a little over the top to me. That's almost like Joel Schumacher to me a little bit.
Well, what I always thought it kind of reminded me of the Dark Knight, the second of the Nolan movies, where you get this Joker movie and you're like, oh, cool, it ended. But they're like, but wait,
there's more.
There's more. We have the Two-Face story. And we're like, oh, I thought this was going to be the third movie. And they're like, no. So they give you this like mini movie afterwards. That's just like, oh, that I don't know if we really needed that in this movie. The tone, it's a big tonal shift in the story, but
oh well. I mean, like I said, it can't be perfect, but I thought it was still pretty good.
The one thing, like I hate about because like a lot of complaints that I've heard about this is just like, oh well, because they're using Riddler again and stuff like that, and and alluding to other people, and they're like, well, we just had like, why can't we just have like a movie like with like we need Clayface, like we got the technology, we can do Clayface, like Man Bat. Like, so your problem is just like the kind of movie in general. You're not even basing the movie on the merits of the movie.
Yeah.
You're just basing it off of it. It's not the kind of movie that you want. This is a very young Batman who screws up. That's what I kind of like about it. Like, Batman fucks up throughout the whole movie. Like, he's not very Batman at all.
Yeah, he's like somebody learning how to be Batman, which there's no prototype for Batman, so it's just kind of winging it, no pun intended.
Because, well, there's definitely going to be a second movie with all the money. And so there's probably going to be a third movie. So, like...
And there's going to be a Penguin show.
Yeah, and a Penguin show. So I could definitely see by, like, the third movie, he's the Batman that doesn't make a mistake, that has plans on top of plans.
And is a suave Bruce Wayne, most likely.
Yeah.
Because that's a facade he puts on, which Christian Bale even shows in his movies, because a lot of people are like, oh, Robert Pattinson was really good as Batman, but he sucked as Bruce Wayne. He didn't really play Bruce Wayne.
No.
Like, there was barely any Bruce Wayne in the movie, and they even had the part where it's like, well, because the Riddler says, oh, we're alike because when you put on the mask, that's the real you, alluding to Batman. Like, Bruce Wayne isn't Bruce Wayne, he's Batman. Like, that's just who he is. And Bruce Wayne is the mask that he puts on.
And that's another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie, because, like, what's one comic guy's, like, grief about superhero movies is that the actors never keep the mask on. Like, he's like, we get what? Like,
most of the movie, he has the mask on.
We get, like, 20 minutes of Bruce Wayne, and then, like, some of the other times, like, if he doesn't have the suit on, he's doing Batman things.
Yeah.
With, like a biker's helmet on or, whatever. Like,
what was also very interesting? Robert Pattinson, in my opinion, has the best Batman face with, when the mask cuts off below the nose. Like, his chin. I'm like, oh my God, I get it now.
Yeah,
like, I never get the Edward Cullen dreamy. He got a fucking crooked nose. Like, this guy ain't dreamy. But just the chiseled chin and the mask, I'm like, holy shit. But then when he takes it off, you're like, well, Gressum's kind of gangly. But his fucking jaw.
I didn't realize how tall the guy was.
How tall is he?
He looks fucking super tall in Batman. He looks like he's like 7 feet.
What the fuck are you doing? Never come back.
One last thing that I liked, because it rained throughout this whole movie, so I loved any time as guys and as you still work outside in the rain, walking and you get soaked in just the squish sound of just a wet Batman coming walking to whoop you. I really just appreciated that.
The sound was really good in that movie. Just overall, very well done movie, especially because who was it? Matt Reeves that did it.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting an amazing movie from that guy. What was his other things he did?
I know he's done like most of the new Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, and I never really watched those.
Some other stuff. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it was. Well, The perfect. I heard Kevin Smith was saying that because he saw this tweet, he couldn't remember who tweeted it to give him credit, but he remembers seeing it. They didn't make Batman real. Didn't they make him like in the real world? They made Batman's world real.
Yeah,
that was what this movie was,
which is what I liked about it. It had a very Seven feel to it, because you have Riddler being just a creepy serial killer pretty much, and I just it was just right up my alley. I always wanted Detective Batman, and now I got it, and I can't wait till it comes out on streaming or something so I can watch it in the comfort of my own home, because it is a long movie. And it's hard to appreciate it when you're in the very fucking front row. And also, Zoe Kravitz, I thought, was an excellent Catwoman.
Yes,
I really liked her Catwoman. Though she could have had a mask.
I was hoping, like, by the end that she was going to have one. But I'm sure she'll show up in the Penguin. And there's supposed to be, like, another, like... Well, it's supposed to be, like, a Gotham PD. But now I think it's, like, an Arkham Asylum kind of show. I watched Peacemaker.
We can't talk about that. I haven't watched it yet.
It's so good.
I'm going to watch it soon. I just started replaying Chrono Trigger again. So
those who haven't watched it, watch it.
All right. I'll watch it. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me today, Spencer, the Venezuelan Viagra Vandalizer Church.
Oh.
It's hard. I decided what I think I'm going to do for the 100th episode, because I'd imagine we're not going to do anything too cool on that, because I don't feel like it now. But I'm thinking I'm going to go back and take your name from every episode.
Ooh.
And make it, like, at least at the end of the episode, just make just Spencer, and it just goes forever.
Oh, yeah, like it could be the only episode where we do a sign off.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm Caleb James, and this is Spencer.
Just keep going. I have to find out when we first started that dumb fucking
It
run.
was early on.
Yeah, it definitely was.
If it wasn't like the first episode, it was like the first couple.
I think the first episode we tried to be maybe professional, and then it just went down the shitter after that. I don't know, because I think we had to try like a drinking segment we tried to do too at the beginning. We're like, oh, what are you drinking, Spencer? Yeah. And it was like fucking stupid, like a couple of young kids back in the 1987 or whenever we started this fucking thing. I didn't have a topic for today. I don't know, man. Been writing, you've been reading. Let me tell you about my writing.
Okay.
That's what we'll talk about for a moment.
Like, you having a valid excuse, kind of.
My illness, that's what I have to refer to it as, is an illness.
Herpes.
Super herpes. Brain herpes. It was one of those things where I was so fucking exhausted that I just couldn't, like, do anything. Like, I barely read anything.
Well, I'm sure you probably didn't take any time off of work either, right?
No, I worked every day, and of course that's when we had fucking, like, a blizzard that just came out of nowhere. So I worked in, like, 14 feet of snow and ice and cold. So I've been all over the place this week with just wanting to die. Well, last week with wanting to just die. But my writing, like, fuck. Thursday, I think I just skipped. I didn't write during the Arnold, so there was, like, I think I might have wrote Friday, yeah. So Saturday, Sunday, and then Thursday. So that already sucks. And then the rest of the week, I did maybe a couple sentences here and there. Like, I was definitely not knocking out pages or even paragraphs, which really fucking sucks because I was on a good roll there. Now, yesterday and today, I finally get back into actually getting some writing done, like real writing done. But fuck, man, I just took the wind out of my sails. It was not creative. Even the writing I was getting done, too, was just like, shit. How about you?
Nothing. I've been in a slump for, like, this past, like, week or so.
But why?
Because, like, this past week I've been watching my brother and his wife's dog while they've been out of town. And, like, I brought my laptop up and everything. And I don't know, like, I can't. Well, I think one part of the problem is like in the story that I'm at like where the thing that happens that kind of turns the story, like I'm right there, but like once I get past that point, I don't really know where I'm going.
You walked around a blind turn.
Yeah, because like, and when I came up with this idea, I'd be like, oh, well, there's the guy, he works here, the things happen, and then that caused him to be able to do all this other crazy stuff, and then end like this. But like all this crazy stuff, I didn't, I don't really have. So like, I don't know if I should trying to maybe do like a loose outline of some things, maybe
the pitfalls of a pantser,
or just kind of just go with it or whatever, like, you know what I mean? So that's where I think I'm having a little bit of issue. I think if I had an idea on what I wanted to write, I think that would take away some of the issues. But then also too, like I have at the end of the week of recording this, I have another like hospital thing. It's routine at this point and stuff, but still, it's still a pain to deal, to deal with that stuff and prep with that. So that always seems to hinder me for certain, like, I should use that as an excuse to, like, to try to write, you know what I mean? But it never seems to work out that way.
Well, maybe you can get some reading done. I don't know.
I've got a little bit of reading done, but no, like, I'm still not done with Life for Cell yet.
Ooh.
I got like 50 pages left. I haven't been able to just like get into a good groove to like get like a good chunk of, like, you know what I mean?
Well, it also kind of kicked my ass is last week I read another story in that the Oblivion for the IRC.
Ooh.
That Mr. Squishy first story I read. It was fucking, oh god, like it was just ridiculous. But the second one,
finish that?
No, that one I ended up, I think, bailing on the very end of it. I was just like, fuck it, like I like skimmed through it, but the second story I actually really liked, so that was fine. But I didn't want to keep, like, it was his kind of work. Like, you gotta get to that. If you're gonna record and talk about it, unless you're gonna have detailed notes, you're gonna want to get to that fairly soon. Mm-hmm. So I had Ash on Sunday. And I can't wait to edit that podcast when I'm sitting there like through most of the fuck like I kept having to pause and like, hold on. But it was a really good conversation. I think we actually ended up going like over a half hour just on that story. Normally they're those are pretty short episodes, but I think you'll like listening to those, especially that one. But like reading that because I'm also still reading The Lord of the Rings, so like that kind of was a weird transition because his writing is the kind that'll really affect your writing if you're not careful.
Who?
Like David Foster Wallace.
Okay.
Like the way he writes, that can easily seep into your work. So I'm spacing those stories out so that doesn't happen. And then like the novel I'm writing, it's gotten a little wonky where I'm at because you know me, like I did an outline for this, like a loose outline. I'm like, as long as I follow the main plot points, I'll be all right. But see, I'm hiking in the woods, and then there's a couple trails, and one says leads to waterfall. I'm like, ooh, I want to go see the waterfall. So I go down that trail, and then I see the waterfall, and I'm like, okay, well, I better go on the main trail. Then I find another trail. Oh, this one goes to caves. I'm going to go look at the caves. Then I come back from the caves, and I'm still okay, still on the main trail. But then I see an unmarked trail, and I don't know where that goes. So I follow that, and then bam, I'm lost in the fucking woods. So that's where I'm at in my story, is I was doing good, and now like I have a fucking like a leprechaun dwarf guy that's just in somebody's house, and they stole his hat, and I was like, that's nowhere in my outline. That has nothing to do with anything. And I turned into fucking some Haruki Murakami story, and I'm like, why? I don't know how to undo this, but I have to follow it. I have to see where it ends up because it's too interesting not to, follow it. But I need to fucking go back. I'm lost. So that's a little weird. And then I'm reading the David Foster Wallace, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting there like, and then he put his hat on and the dirt crust. And I'm like, no dirt crust. I don't need, oh my God, why do I have 4 pages of detail on this one fucking hat? I was like, what am I doing? Because it's David Foster Wallace. It just adds like the most ridiculous details to things. So, yeah, I need to get back to normal. I think what I need to do is get back to not just consistent writing, but like long consistent writing. So like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hour session. Because lately I've only, even before I got sick, I was only writing for like a half hour here and there, which is too spaced out. Like I'll write on my lunch, write at night, but I need to just like have a big chunk because it's hard to get in a flow that way.
Right.
You keep breaking it up. And then that's when my story I probably reads choppy like that too.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping because I have a couple of days. after my hospital thing off. So I'm hoping after that I'll be able to try to get back at least onto the track of where at least on my days off I was producing pretty decently there for the past couple weeks. Like my days of work, not as much, but get the big things on the days off and at least a little bit, for the rest of the week.
Right.
At least see if I can get back onto that track again, before.
Another problem I'm having. Well, let me just state, if you really want a weird experience, read David Foster Wallace while you're also reading Lord of the Rings or any kind of Tolkien work. Weird clash, like just completely different writing styles, and it's just like
It's just fighting in your brain.
Yeah, it's a little bizarre, but also because I've been on this fantasy streak lately, and I got those Ulrika Melnibene stories and stuff, and I read that one novel I really like, so I want to read more of those. But all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, maybe it's the weather change, maybe because we're finally gonna have some warm weather. I don't know what it is. I got the itch, man, the deep itch, and it's not the brain herpes this time. It's a different kind of herpes. It's the Sherlock Holmes herpes. Ooh. I got Sherlock Holmes on the brain. Oh, yeah, I got Sherlock Holmes on the brain, Spencer.
I like that.
On the brain, Spencer. So I had this idea, see? Me, you, me. We get together, right? We do an episode. Record it. Book of the month. Sherlock Holmes. Hounds of the Baskerville. Or whatever the first book is. I don't know. I'm assuming. So, yeah, when you're sick, do the Macho Man voice. It's a good idea.
It's probably almost easier, but it was a way worse conquest at the end.
Yeah, so maybe June or July, maybe we'll do a Sherlock Holmes. We'll see what the page counts are and what the first novel is, and go from there.
We were talking about before reading do Electric Android or
do Android's Dream
of Electric Sheep. Because we've been talking about wanting to read that. Well, we gonna do that as a book club book 2, or is that just gonna be like our like our kind of side what the folks on here don't know about? We got a lot of side hustle reads going on that you guys don't know about.
Maybe just a side hustle read. I honestly, this might be a little kooky, I kind of feel like we should just start an actual book club. Like, not a comic book club.
Yeah.
But maybe see if some of the people from the comic book club would like to come over to read actual books. Because, like, The Android's Dream of Electric Sheep is a pretty short book.
Yeah.
There's some short Kurt Vonnegut books we want to read.
Mm-hmm.
I can see people being able to read those in a month. I've never been in an actual book club, so I don't know. Do you get together once a month, or like we do now and talk about the book, or do you just get together every couple weeks to I'm halfway through?
Well, isn't it normally like the cliche that you see in like movies and shows with like the ladies? It's normally like once a week. And it's
talk about the book.
And it's like I think you have to have like so many chapters or whatever you got set for the thing. But where would we have it at, though?
I don't know, because everyone that would come to this book club lives far away from my house.
Yeah.
Because I have the other fold-out table. This would be perfect area for that. It's just like, does anybody want to come all the way here? I don't know. I'd probably not. Probably going to abandon that idea immediately. That should be what we do, is abandon it.
Yeah, because that would be the only issue, is finding out where to have it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that would make me read more books, but I don't need to read more books, honestly. I'm reading like 5 at a time now. It's a problem.
Need to write more books.
I'm reading so many books. I'm writing books. We still need to finish Walter Mosley's Masterclass and watch Devil in a Blue Dress.
Yeah.
I haven't done either of those things. Maybe I'll do that Saturday.
And then maybe then the Neil Gaiman.
Well, I already watched that one. You have to watch that one. I should just give you my password. You can watch it on your own leisurely time.
Right.
You won't do that.
No.
Not unless you're trying to write, then you'll do that.
But any other time, yeah.
Because that's what I used to use as an excuse not to write. It's like, well, I'm not writing, but I am doing something writing related.
I'm watching Neil Gaiman talk about writing. I mean, that's better than anything that I could ever do.
Right? All right. Well, that's been the Drunken Writing Podcast. I think my voice is fucking giving out. Any new pressing business?
None that I can think of that warrants you losing your vocal box.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I could always just put with like that trank, like just let me get something sharp. I can cut a hole in your windpipe for you.
Okay, Spencer. This actually doesn't hurt at all. I'm going to keep talking like this.
That's not gonna get people mad.
If you want to follow Drunken Pen Writing, go to... Oh, Jesus. You can go to drunkenpenwriting.com where we have... Oh, my God. By the time this episode releases, we're going to be in the middle of open spring submissions. Completely forgot about that. Limited time run. So we're only going to be accepting a handful of stories because I don't want to edit a bunch of stories. But I figured because I have been having inquiries, I would open something if people want to submit stories and stuff. The guidelines will be on the site. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Drunk in Pen Writing. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. Follow, don't follow, like, don't like. I don't give a... Actually, so this is our last awful episode.
Sure.
I'm gonna fucking die. This is terrible.
If you throw up, you have to leave it in.
I hope our 100th episode goes better. We'll be introducing the new music to see if you folks like it. If you don't, then I'll either get new music or I'll say fuck you and just keep it. My wife hates it, so but Spencer liked it.
I did. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was cool. Ashley seemed some above indifferent. He seemed like he was okay with it because initially it was going to be the IRC music, but I kind of liked it for the regular podcast. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope I'm better next time. If not, I'll be worse then. Fuck it. Whatever.
Which would just make a better episode.
For you.
Yes.
You'll be the new host.